I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3, for public information, a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is available for review. It's above Tom. 4, notice of changes in the agenda by the city clerk. Additions may not be made to this agenda less than 24 hours before the beginning of the meeting unless added under item 5 of this agenda. Do we have any changes?
No changes, Your Honor.
5, citizens with business not scheduled on the agenda. As required by state law, no matter may be considered under this item unless council determines that the matter requires emergency action. Do we have any emergency actions? No. 6, closed session. A, council reserves the right to enter into closed session if deemed necessary if the item is on the agenda as per section 84-1410 of the Nebraska Revised Statutes. 7, consent calendar. Items in the consent calendar are proposed for adoption by one action for all items unless any member of the council requests that an item be considered separately. Do we have any questions or comments on the agenda, consent calendar? Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Any questions or comments on the consent calendar? Call the roll, please.
Colwell.
Yes.
Scanlon. Yes. McCarrigan.
Yes. 8, financial report. Council to receive the September 2024 financial report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Link Zire, Finance Director. You want to scroll down 2 pages. I'm going to start right here on this one. This is the end of the year, and I'll just get a note right now. This is non-audited, so these numbers won't reflect what the audit's going to show. The expenditures there at the top, those first 2 columns, that's what I look at, those percentages right there for the year. You see everybody was under with the exception of the GIS department. And the reason that the GIS department was over was our contract, the customer or the contract that we have with our is it ESRI? ESRI does our maps. Typically, we pay that in October every year. It's usually due in September, and they let us push it back to October. They didn't let us do that this year, and so we had, and that's a $15,000 a year contract. So, and there's not a lot of leeway in that budget anyways. So he was over $3,000, but that contract it's paid for this year until until September again, but we had to pay that contract twice essentially this year. Other than that, everybody else did a really good job staying within budgets. Street was the highest one there. They used 99% of their budget, but we had 2 pretty big street projects in there this year too, so that's kind of expected. So other than that, on the revenue side, everything looked really good. I didn't see anything that concerned me, and nothing through the month of September. So, busy month when we come to the end of the fiscal year. So, any questions?
I don't think so. Any questions?
I'll move to approve the financial report.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Scanlon. Yes. McCarrigan.
Yes.
Colwell.
Yes.
9, public hearings. So before we move on, we'll have to have a motion to adjourn the city council meeting tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Call the roll, please.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Colwell.
Yes.
Scanlon. Yes.
So council is to convene the Board of Equalization. Go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Scanlon. Present. McCarrigan.
Yes.
Colwell.
Yes.
2, for public information, a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is available for review. 3, notice of changes in the agenda by the city clerk. Additions may not be made to this agenda less than 24 hours before the beginning of the meeting unless added under item 5 of this agenda. Any changes?
No changes, Your Honor.
4, citizens with business not scheduled on the agenda as required by state law. No matter may be considered under this item unless council determines that the matter requires emergency action. Do you have any emergency actions? Okay. 5, public hearings. A, Board of Equalization to conduct a public hearing as advertised for 6:05 p.m. to consider setting special assessments to adjacent lots benefited by the construction of paving improvement district number 314 and sanitary sewer district number 167. We'll open the public hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you'll recall, as the council as well, several months ago, we had an ordinance that was passed after a public hearing and a resolution to create the paving district and the sanitary sewer district, and that's for public improvements on, well, they're on the screen, on Avenue K and 28th Street, which is south of Home Depot. Those were upon a request. We received a written request by a developer to form these two districts and to make the improvements. Once they were accepted, we engaged our engineer, MC Schaff, and he's here today. Don Dye was in charge of the project. And they completed those improvements. I don't know if anybody's been down there or driven by the new street. Can't see the sanitary sewer improvements, obviously, but I'm not sure how much traffic's being used on there. But one of the methods then we use to assess those improvements once they're accepted, once they're contracted, built, and accepted, is to assess by front footage on property that abuts those improvements. And that's what Don has broken down here for you. We then, as a city council, convene as a Board of Equalization then to assess those benefits based upon the improvements that were constructed. And later on in this meeting, we will also pass an ordinance to assess that, because we have to let the county know that those improvements were completed, and then we will get paid over the course of, I believe it's 15 years for the street and 10 years for the sewer district for those improvements. So it's a way of financing the improvements after they're built. And with that being said, Don, if you'd like to get up and explain the activity or what you did.
Sure, Don Nye with MC Schaff and Associates. We were the designated engineer for the project. The improvements included pretty much the construction of 28th Street from Avenue I over to Avenue K, and then Avenue K from 28th up to 29th. Included sidewalks on both sides of the streets, and then sidewalks, driveways, and then the sanitary sewer was for the Frank lots that are kind of north of 28th Street. I think there was 6 lots total that were improved by that. So we bid out the project. Eric Reichert was the low bidder and constructed the project, and we inspected that during the project. As Kent said, we broke down by front footage and assessed a percentage of each lot was for their responsibility, and then the city was responsible for the intersection. So pretty much PC to PC was where the radiuses go, and then the middle of the intersection. So with that, I'd entertain any questions that you might have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions or comments before we close the public hearing? Okay. Close the public hearing. 6, reports and recommendations from board. A, board to take action on assessing the improvements to adjacent lots benefited by construction of paving improvement district number 314 and sanitary sewer district number 167.
Now, as a final act of the Board of Equalization, we'll need a motion and a second to approve those assessments on that sheet that have been broken down of the cost for each improvement district, both the sanitary sewer improvement district and the paving district.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion by Colwell, second by Scanlon. Any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Caldwell.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Scanlon.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Call the roll, please.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Scanlon.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to reconvene the Scottsbluff City Council meeting?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Scanlon.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes. 10, resolution and ordinances. Council to consider action on the first reading of the ordinance levying a special assessment in paving district number 314. Okay,
An ordinance finding, ascertaining, determining, equalizing, and fixing the benefits to and levying special assessments upon the lots, part of lots, land, and real estate abutting upon and adjacent to and especially benefited by the improvements in paving district number 314 of the city of Scottsbluff, Nebraska, for the purpose of paying the costs of such improvements to the extent of special benefit to such lots, part of lots, lands, and real estate by reason of such improvements, and providing for publication in pamphlet form.
okay. B, council to consider action on the first reading of the ordinance levying a special assessment in sanitary sewer district number 167. Okay,
An ordinance finding, ascertaining, determining, equalizing, and fixing the benefits to and levying special assessments upon the lots, part of lots, land, and real estate abutting upon and adjacent to and especially benefited by the improvements in sanitary sewer district number 167 of the city of Scottsbluff, Nebraska, for the purpose of paying the costs of such improvements to the extent of special benefit to such lots, part of lots, lands, and real estate by reason of such improvements, and providing for publication in pamphlet form.
okay. C, council to discuss and approve the micro TIF application for Brandy and Eric Reichert for the 1802 Broadway redevelopment project and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So you have before you a micro-tip application that was submitted by Brandy and Eric Reichert for 1802 Broadway. So the application has been submitted for a single project. So I'll run through the checklist for the micro-TIF. So it is for a single project. That requirement is met. The project is the repair or rehabilitation of an existing structure that has been within city limits for at least 60 years. This requirement is met. The building was built in 1946, and this is in the Main Street addition to Scottsbluff, which was platted in 1916. The project is located in a blighted and substandard area. This requirement is met. The project is in a county with a population of less than 100,000. That requirement is met. The assessed value of the property when the project is complete is estimated to be no more than 1.5 million. This is also completed. The actual question on the application is the estimated increase, which is estimated to be $1,060,460 to be exact. And the last item on the checklist is this in line with our comprehensive plan, and that is met. Any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay, Brandy and Eric are here if you would like to hear a little bit more about the project.
Sure.
So I will invite them up and turn it over to them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Brandy Reichert. So the building that we just talked about is the old Western Trails Sports Building, for all of you that have been here for a long time. And I bought the building, Eric and I bought the building 2 years ago, just with the hopes that it's a really cool cornerstone for the area, and it needs some love, and it would be great to see it be, updated and a nice addition to downtown with all the other improvements that are going on. It's also a really nice location, being right across the street from the plaza that was just reconstructed. So the plan for the building is to build out 2 updated commercial office spaces on the main floor. It's a very big building with really good bones, but it needed and needs everything. So it's a complete, we're leaving the bones, but we're redoing everything else. So like I said, there will be 2 commercial office spaces on the main floor. And then the upstairs, there's not a total plan for that right now, but the preliminary plan is to just clear it out, clean it up, seal it in. Didn't have any windows, had a really good pigeon population in there. And eventually get that to be a multi-purpose space that could be used for many things, maybe a venue, maybe other community gatherings or events, but have it be a usable space. So in the application, I detailed out some estimated costs of just what it would take to get this building to an operable state. The total, including the cost of the acquisition of the building, is $1,380,000. So a TIF note is definitely needed and very helpful to get this project to come to life. Any other questions for us?
When do you guys plan to start renovations?
As soon as we can.
Okay. And are you gonna relocate to the space?
I plan to relocate to the space, my business, and then the other space is, I'm hoping if we build it, someone will come, but that's not in stone yet,
Okay.
right now.
Okay. Any other questions?
I walked by it last night and I saw the construction inside, so I think that's gonna be nice to have that building hopefully full again.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, it'll be nice to see that little corner be lit up and occupied again. Some fun facts about it. I don't know if anybody has seen like the really old pictures of that building. It used to be called the Golden Rule Building, and the placards for the Golden Rule are still on the building. And so I plan to restore it with, we're gonna update the awning and make that more modern, the windows will have a different look, so it'll update it, but we're gonna take that original sign and turn it back to the original Golden Rule sign to kind of complement the restoration of the Midwest Theater signage downstairs, or down the street, so that should be kind of cool to see.
Thanks for taking this on. It's such an important thing to keep the downtown moving forward.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Scanlon.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
Good luck. D, council to discuss and consider action on the certificate of resolutions and second amendment to the City of Scottsbluff General City Employees Pension Plan and Trust, and authorize the mayor to sign both documents.
Mayor and council, back in 2018, when we changed plan administrators, for all employees, the requirements to be eligible for our general employees changed, and it went from an hourly consideration to a years of service. Well, that meant that our part-time employees became eligible for our retirement program. So with this resolution, it changes it from years of service back to an hourly eligibility requirement. So this was meant to be a benefit for our full-time employees, and so this resolution changes it back to that.
Okay. Do you have any employees that will be negatively impacted?
There are some part-time employees that were getting the retirement benefit.
Okay. Will they be like grandfathered in, or will it?
They'll get to keep their benefit,
Okay,
so. But
okay,
they won't be able to, it's my understanding, participate in the retirement plan from here on out. And I don't know how many that is, but it's just a few, and I know one of them was upset that they had to participate in it.
oh, because they didn't want to,
They did not want to.
okay. Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
Caldwell.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Scanlon.
Yes.
11, petitions, communications, and public input. A, mayor to read the proclamation naming November as Lung Cancer Awareness Month in Nebraska. Whereas lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer or death among men and women in the United States and Nebraska, accounting for more deaths than colon cancer, breast cancer, and prostate cancer combined. Whereas according to the Centers for Disease Control, there were 6,255 new lung cancer cases between 2017 and 2021, and 3,863 deaths due to lung cancer between 2018 and 2022 in Nebraska. Whereas the 5-year survival rate for localized lung cancer is 60%, yet only 24% of lung cancers are diagnosed at this stage. Whereas screening for lung cancer for high-risk individuals using low-dose computed tomography can lead to the earlier detection of lung cancer and save lives, reducing the mortality by 20% when compared to screening by chest x-ray in the National Lung Screening Trial, and reducing the risk of death at 10 years by 24% in men and 33% in women, as demonstrated by another large randomized trial. Whereas funding for lung cancer research trails far behind funding for research on many other cancers, and additional research is needed in early diagnosis, screening, and treatment for lung cancer, as well as in lung cancer affecting women and lung cancer health disparities. Whereas lung cancer incidence is decreasing twice as fast in men as it is in women, each year more women die from lung cancer than breast cancer, and by 2035, more women will die from lung cancer than men. Whereas African Americans have the highest lung cancer incidence and mortality of all races, and disparities in lung cancer screening, diagnosis, treatment, and mortality are well characterized among African Americans and other racial minorities. Whereas lung cancer in individuals who never smoked is the 7th leading cause of cancer-related death and accounts for 17,000 to 26,000 deaths in the U.S. every year, 60 to 70% of individuals diagnosed with lung cancer who never smoked are women, and the proportion of lung cancers diagnosed in people who never smoked is increasing in the U.S. Whereas radon is the leading cause of lung cancer among individuals who never smoked and the 2nd leading cause of lung cancer overall. Whereas the stigma surrounding lung cancer creates barriers to early diagnosis, treatment, and funding for research, has a detrimental impact on the quality of life of people diagnosed with lung cancer, and hinders awareness of and research into lung cancer risk factors other than smoking. Whereas lung cancer research is leading to breakthroughs in the identification of genetic alterations associated with lung cancer and in the development of lung cancer treatments, including immunotherapies and targeted therapies. Whereas organizations working in Nebraska, such as the American Lung Cancer Screening Initiative and Women's Lung Cancer Forum, are committed to educating about lung cancer and lung cancer screening and working to increase lung cancer screening rates in Nebraska. Therefore, I, Jeannie McCarrigan, Mayor of Scottsbluff, hereby proclaim November 2024 as Lung Cancer Awareness Month in Nebraska, and recognize the need for research in lung cancer affecting women and lung cancer health disparities, and encourage all citizens to learn about lung cancer and early detection through lung cancer screening. All right. 12, bids and awards. A, council to discuss and consider awarding the bid for a new 1-ton truck for the water department to Team Auto Center in the amount of $58,980.
Your Honor and Council, this is going to replace a 2000 Ford pickup for the water department. This is a regular cab pickup. It's the cab and chassis only. We have $90,000 budgeted for this project, and they still have to buy a utility bed and have it installed. So this is just the cab and the chassis. Was budgeted. Good news is we had 3 bids, so it kind of seems that things might be getting back to normal. And Team Auto was the low bid for $58,980, and that's for 2025. So staff is recommending awarding the bid to Team Auto Chevrolet.
The budgeted amount, was that just for the chassis, the $90,000, or was that the whole
The
thing?
whole truck, the
Okay.
completed truck.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Colwell, second by Scanlon. Any questions?
For the install of the cap, for the remaining, we'll have enough money with that 90,000?
We will. We've already are in the process of purchasing the body,
Okay,
and so we'll have plenty to have the install.
okay.
But it was like 15,000 for the body,
Oh, wow.
just so you knew that amount, well below the 90.
Great,
Okay,
thanks.
all right, call the roll, please.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes,
Scanlon.
Yes.
B, council to discuss and consider awarding the bid for the cemetery and soccer complex hail damage repair to Shank Roofing in the amount of $71,046.21.
And Your Honor and Council, really more good news. We had 4 bid on this project where we had been getting 1 for a long time and then recently 2 and now 4. So I think that's really good news. The low bid was Shank Roofing, $71,046.21, well below the engineer's estimate. So staff is recommending awarding the bid for the repairs of the cemetery and the soccer structures to Shank Roofing.
I'll move to award the bid.
Okay, do we have a second?
second.
Okay, motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Any questions or comments?
At the cemetery, besides the building, what else is there? I didn't
The,
see that part. And
there's some trim around the windows, there's gutters and downspouts, but there's 2 structures up there.
Okay,
The administrative building and
trying to think of the
There's
other
like a
structure.
the
garage.
storage garage.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
So
behind it.
okay,
they're gonna replace the metal roofing on that storage facility that sits off to the south.
okay.
All right, call the roll, please.
Scanlon.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes,
13, reports from staff, boards, and commissions. A, council to consider a motion to ratify all actions of Kevin Spencer, City of Scottsbluff, LARM representative identified in the minutes of the annual members meeting of the League Association of Risk Management on October 2nd, 2024, including the election of nominees to the LARM Board of Directors.
Okay, at the league conference, I attended the LARM board meeting and voted. So, what I voted on was, approval of the minutes and the LARM, I missed one. Then, they, nominated and approved, LARM board members. So I voted on that item. And I voted yes on all of these. And then a motion to accept a report of the LARM's annual audit and statement and actuarial opinion. So all of the reports were good. It was fairly routine. The audit was really the biggest item. And then I voted on the adjournment. So that's it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve or ratify?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
second.
Okay, motion by Scanlon, second by Colwell. Any questions or comments?
It'd be nice to have a couple more Western Nebraska representatives online.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks for doing it.
yeah, you're welcome.
Call the roll, please.
Caldwell.
Yes,
Scanlon.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes. B, council to discuss and consider action on the Second Amendment to land lease agreement between the City of Scottsbluff and Cellco Partnership DBA Verizon Wireless and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement and memorandum of lease.
This is a second amendment to this agreement. This is something we've been working on since March, believe it or not. So we've been talking about this for a little bit. But what they want to do is they want to extend this agreement. The original agreement would expire in 2054. They want to extend this out 35 more years, so
Wow.
7 5-year renewals, so it'll go to 2089. And they explained that to us, that they need to do this to remain competitive, and it's kind of a routine part of the cell tower business now. So what they've done for us to do that is currently we pay $1,033.99 a month. They're gonna continue that.
Actually, they pay.
Oh,
They pay
yeah,
us.
they pay us, sorry.
Okay,
They pay us monthly. It'll go up on September 1st by 2%. They're gonna give us a one-time payment of $10,000. And they're going to increase the revenue share from $100 to $150 or 10%, whichever is greater. So we're recommending that you approve the agreement and authorize the mayor to sign.
so it really comes due every 5 years, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they can extend the term every 5 years.
Every 5 years?
You know, when they started this thing, they really wanted to purchase the
Yeah.
site.
Okay,
And we told them we wouldn't sell the site. And so that kind of put them in a little,
pickle.
yeah, because they
Then they wanted more space.
they offered a
wanted-
lot of money.
Oh,
It's like, we're just not interested, because it's at 23 Club,
okay.
and it's right by the Nebraska National Guard
Oh,
shop.
yeah.
So, that's when they started with these extensions, and anyway, now we're here, so,
So do we have like an out clause if we choose not to?
There is one.
yes.
Okay. Okay,
It's very forward thinking of them, 50 years out.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
it was a surprise when you see that, and it's like 2089. They have the dates in there, and it's like, oh my gosh.
And if history repeats itself, we're gonna be doing this again.
Yeah,
It seems.
Probably next year.
Yeah, it could
this
be
is
a
not
few
the
years.
first time they've done this.
We did
I
this in
remember.
2020, I think.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, motion by Colwell, second by Scanlon. Any questions or comments? Call the roll, please.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Scanlon.
Yes.
Caldwell.
Yes.
14, council reports informational only. This item is intended for council members to update and inform other council members of meetings attended since the last city council meeting. Do you have any updates?
No updates.
I'm gonna travel to Lincoln Thursday for a crime commission morning or board meeting on Friday. So,
Got it. Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Call the roll, please.
Scanlon.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes,
Caldwell.
Yes.
we're adjourned. Thank you.